gives us direction. Have you ever known a person who didn't have a clue concerning about what she wanted to do, what he or she wanted to do in life, yet was highly successful? I haven't either. No one has. Well, I ain't gonna say no one has, but just it's a hard thing to find. We all need something worthwhile to aim for. A dream provides us with that. It acts as a compass, telling us the direction we should travel. And until we've identified the right direction, we'll never for sure know that our movement is actually progress. I'm gonna read that back one more time. And until we've identified that right direction, we'll never know for sure that our movement is actually progress. I'll say that piece definitely speaks out. Man, sometimes it takes a whole lot of work before you finally see it pay off. That's what I'm seeing within this particular statement. But moving on, it says our actions are just as likely to take us backward instead of forward. If you move in any direction other than towards your dream, you will miss out on the opportunities necessary to become successful. Next, a dream increases our potential. Without a dream, we may struggle to see potential in ourselves because we don't look beyond our current circumstances. But with a dream, we begin to see ourselves in a new light, as having greater potential. As having greater potential and being capable of stretching and growing to reach it. Every opportunity we meet, every resource we discover, every talent we develop becomes a part of our potential to grow toward that dream. And I'm gonna read that one more time because I feel like y'all need to know that's something that needs to be emphasized. Every dream, every opportunity we meet, every resource we discover, every talent we develop becomes a part of our potential to grow toward that dream. The greater the dream, the greater the potential. E. Paul Hovey once said, "A blind man's world is bounded by the limits of his touch. An ignorant man's world by the limits of his knowledge. A great man's world by the limits of his vision." That one's powerful. If your vision, your dream is great, then so is your potential for success. A dream gives us hope. A dream helps us prioritize. A dream gives us hope for the future, and brings us power in the present. It makes it possible for us to prioritize everything we do. A person who has a dream knows what he is willing to give up in order to do so, in order to attain it. He is able to measure everything he does according to whether or not it contributes to the dream, concentrating his attention on the things that bring him closer to it, and giving less attention to everything that doesn't. Ironically, many people do the exact opposite. Rather than focusing on their one dream and let go of the important thing or the less important things, they actually want to keep every option open. But when they do, they actually face more problems because decision making becomes overly complicated for them. They are like a performer who spins plates. You might have seen one actually, on TV or whichever. The performer puts a plate on top of a long, thin rod, spins it, and as long as the plate is spinning, it balances on the end of the rod. Then he places the rod on the device so that it stands on the edge, or it stands on the end. Then he does the same with another rod and plate, and then another. He keeps adding plates until he has a bunch of them spinning. As he goes, he must occasionally stop, run back, and put more spin on the previous plate so that they don't fall. A performer who is really good at this can get quite a few plates spinning very quickly in the beginning. But as time continues to keep going by, what happens is even the good ones find it hard to make any progress adding new plates because they're spending too much time trying to go back and spin the previous ones. Right? Getting the last plate up and continuing to spin it takes a whole bunch of time, and this particular section definitely speaks to me, because as much as I want to be versatile, I still have to keep in mind the fact that there's still got to be the concentration and focus on certain things, and cutting out the unnecessary is very critical, especially if one is looking to become multifaceted in other different, in other different things. Because again, with this right here, it's a lot of getting this up, then coming back to make sure that this is good, going, and running back and forth between this, and not making any further progress. So let's just say it would be the equivalent to running around in a circle as opposed to running straight forward. So, but definitely speaking it, I see that there. But keeping all your options open is a lot like that. At first, it's fun to have so many possibilities open before you, and it seems to be an excellent idea, but as time continues to go by, you can't make any progress because you spend all your time preserving the options rather than moving forward, right? Now, when you have a dream, you don't have that problem. You can expend your time and energy only on the plates that bring you closer to that dream. Right? You can allow all the others to stop spinning and crash to the floor because they're unimportant. The knowledge frees up time to concentrate on the few things that make a difference, and it keeps you on the right track, very importantly, right? And also, next piece, a dream adds value to our work. A dream puts everything we do into perspective. Even the tasks we aren't excited about or the stuff that isn't immediately rewarding take on added value when we know that it ultimately contributes to the fulfillment of the dreams that we have. All right? Each activity becomes an important piece, an important step towards the larger picture. Of course, there's a reminder of the story, right? A reporter who talked to 3 construction workers pouring concrete on a building site, right? The reporter asks, "What are you doing?" to the first worker. First worker says, "I'm earning a paycheck," as grumbled. The reporter asks the same question to the second person, right? And the second person responds, "What's it look like? I'm pouring concrete." The third person, right, when he asked the question, was smiling and whistling, right? And when the reporter said, "What are you doing?" he asked, or the person stopped, and he said, "I'm building a shelter for the homeless," with a big smile and everything, right? He wiped his hands clean on a rag and then pointed, "Look over there. There is where the kitchen will be, and that over there is the women's dormitory. This here." The man was doing the same job. Oh, wow. Oh, pardon me. He continued to keep going on in his quote. But the point is, each man was doing the same job, right? But it was only the third gentleman who was motivated by a larger vision. The work he did was fulfilling a dream, and it added value to all of his efforts. Vince Lombardi stated, "I firmly believe that any man's finest hour, his greatest fulfillment to all he holds dearly, is that moment he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field of battle, victorious." Wow, I'm going to read that one more time. Vince Lombardi stated, "I firmly believe that any man's finest hour, his greatest fulfillment to all he holds dear, is that moment when he has worked his heart out in a good cause and lies exhausted on the field of battle, victorious." And that is very, very powerful. I love the imagery on that particular, on that. A dream provides the perspective that makes that kind of effort possible. A dream predicts our future. Catherine Logan once said, "A vision foretells what may be ours. It is an invitation to do something. With a great mental picture in mind, we go from one accomplishment to another, using the materials about us only as stepping stones to that which is higher and better and more satisfying. We thus become possessors of the unseen values which are eternal. When we have